What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Fresh Out of College.
Today we have another guest, our friend from college, our housemate, big Warriors fan, also a big Detroit Lions fan, and is a swimmer at the University of Puget Sound, our friend Justin Sasano.
Yeah, so we are first going to talk about the NBA in this episode and kind of where the free agents are, and we'll get his input and see where people land. So it should be good. It should be fun. Great, are you excited?
Yeah, excited. It should be a fun one.
Let's do it. How's it going, everyone? We're back, Justin, Ryota, and I, for another segment of Fresh Out of College. We're going to be diving into the NBA free agents and kind of look at who should be signed, who has been signed, and the push for the bubble. So, yeah, let's hop into it. Justin, do you have any players on your mind? I guess J.R. Smith recently got signed. That's a pretty big deal. J.R. Smith back with LeBron James. We all know how that ended.
Yeah, exactly. I kind of, as a fantasy option and as a person that I genuinely like, especially since his most recent post hanging out with Kobe's kids, but Pau Gasol.
Nice.
I know he's getting up there. He's 30.
36, I think, last time I checked.
36?
Have your intern check.
Jesus Christ. Well, I wouldn't be surprised if he
he's
retired.
I misspoke, and he's 40.
Oh my gosh, 4 years old.
Oh my God. He is 40 years. Jesus, that is an old man. But I wouldn't be surprised, since he's coming off of I think what I read was a stress fracture on his foot, that maybe he retires in this next upcoming, well, not even in this season, because this isn't really quite a season, I guess. But wouldn't be surprised if he retires. But I could see a team that needs a veteran center that could use some help. Honestly, I could see, because the Warriors have had some veteran centers in the past.
Hold on, but the Warriors are not going to – oh, you're saying for next year?
Yeah. Just like
Well, but I think if you're Paul
Keep
Gasol, though, wouldn't you want to go to a team that respected you, where you had really good years, though?
Like
What do
the
you mean?
Lakers.
Yeah.
Don't the Lakers already have
Anthony Davis?
Well, I know, but do you think Paul
Joe
Gasol is
McGee?
40? I have respects for him, but do you think he's really gonna play? He's probably just gonna sit on the bench and retire, and have a big parade for him at every stadium he goes to, which I'd be totally fine with. I think he could end up a Laker, especially he's hanging out with Kobe's kids. That seems like a cool success. Or maybe he just coaches. I don't know. I've also heard rumors he might go sign and play in France for FC Barcelona. That's what I read too. So sorry to shut it down, but I don't think he's gonna.
All right, Ryota, who do you have?
Well, no, I want to keep talking about Paul Gasol because I like him. But if we're talking about teams that need centers for the restart, the Nets, do they have
the Nets need everybody? Everybody's just falling down with the Nets.
Because DeAndre's out. I don't know if Jared Allen's playing. I think what's his name, Claxton? I think he might not play also.
Michael Claxton.
Nicholas Claxton. So I think there's an opportunity to play for the Nets, maybe, if we're talking about teams that need players. Joakim Noah went to the Clippers, right? Was it the Clippers?
I believe so.
I forgot which, but he was one of those big centers that could be to help bolster a defensive lineup in any team. But also, we still have Boogie Cousins on free agency, but again, his injury is kind of up in the air, so we're not quite sure.
There's no way he's going to sign. I think he's just too much of an injury.
Yeah, I think he's
prone
wait
for
next year.
Especially only 8 games in the playoffs. There's no way he's coming back.
Yeah, but those are, the two. You're right. Those are the two center really options that we have. There's no other options right now.
Well, this is how I see it. I see it. The teams that are prepared for the bubble and know they're going to make it long term and deep in the playoffs, I don't think they're looking for, a big center that needs to fill a huge void. I think they only need a person that might just be maybe leadership, or maybe just somebody that can take fouls. I don't know. I think I'm more interested in your guys' point of view of the shooters and maybe the guard position, because I know there's a lot more there.
There's one player that Drew wants us to talk about, obviously.
Well,
we should just avoid him.
Jamal Crawford with the Nets? He
Crawford signed
signed.
with the Nets. Again, see, the Nets are in need. They don't have anybody. I mean, they don't even have Dinwiddie, who they were going to rely on with Kyrie, but he's not playing. So the Nets need some major help if they don't want to fall and drop to the ninth place team, which is very possible, which we talked about a couple of weeks ago. But
Yeah. And then let's just get into Isaiah Thomas. I don't know. I mean, he's
Yeah.
not great at defense. I know that.
no, he's a
But
huge liability.
he's a huge liability. He's dealt with injuries, but he's a scorer, right? He
Mm-hmm.
can be like maybe a spark plug off the bench. He's a great 3-point shooter. Yeah, he shot 41% from three last year. I think he's had a career maybe of 39%.
Mm.
Some guy that can come in and supply 6 or 7 points and then get off the court really quickly. I think he just needs the opportunity. J.R. Smith, let's go back to also with the Lakers. What do you guys think? Quick gut reactions. Go. J.R. Smith to the Clippers. What do you think? One word. Give me one word.
I didn't know, or I thought LeBron would
Reunion.
still be salty.
Nice. Salty. And then what do you say, Justin?
I said it's just a reunion.
A reunion. Yeah, that's a good point.
That's all it
He is.
is.
Well, I think it's funny because like when LeBron James wants you back, you have a job. But then when he doesn't like you, it's like, okay, no team's going to sign him. Because I think I think that's happening with Isaiah Thomas. I mean, he didn't have the greatest time with Isaiah Thomas when he was with the Cavs, and then Isaiah Thomas quickly gets shipped off, and then he's out of the league. So I think once you're in the good graces of LeBron James, you have a job. Um,
Well, it's interesting to look at. I have the Lakers lineup right now, but it's interesting to see where J.R. Smith will fit in. You know, they lose Avery Bradley, who was there mainly for his defense and who played a good amount, right? But J.R. Smith isn't a defensive standout by any means. They have
well, who's their 3-point shooters right now?
Danny Green, who's also a great defender. They have Kyle Kuzma off the bench.
Mm.
They have Caruso off the bench, Cook off the bench, Waiters possibly, but they have KCP in at the 2 right now. I think that's where J.R. Smith is competing for. But I don't. Yeah, I'd rather have Caruso there. But I guess Caruso's good in the second rotation too, so I don't really know.
Yeah, Caruso might be better at
Maybe you
handling the
think about
ball.
it, this Lakers team is not that good.
What are you talking about?
I
They
think
have
the Clippers are
LeBron James and
better.
Anthony Davis.
But that's it.
What? That's all you need, really?
But look at the Clippers: Montrezl Harrell, Lou Williams, Pat Bev. Oh, and then you have Kawhi and PG. I forgot about too.
I was like,
right? I don't know. I just don't think the Lakers are that good. I'm not a huge Lakers fan.
I'm just saying that when you
they
have
made a mistake
guy,
when they didn't get Melo. That's all I'm gonna say.
Well, Melo. Okay, well, I have to agree with you on that. But let me just say one thing. When you have a player like LeBron James that has been to the finals 8 straight years in the East, I think you're in a pretty good. I think you're feeling good right now with the Lakers. And then just add on Anthony Davis, who's having a career year. I don't know. Well, I'm just saying it's.
LeBron James tends to have that golden touch when he goes to a team. So
that's true. But I'm just saying there's some good competitive teams out there right now, and they're also very hungry. I think the Lakers really need to sign another player. I think IT could be great off the bench there.
Well, now that they have J.R. Smith, I don't think he is really.
But J.R. Smith might play the 3.
Well, still, I think, like I said, and what Justin also said, like about reunion, and then once LeBron James and Isaiah Thomas kind of already played, and it didn't really gel, there wasn't really a chemistry there. So I don't see him going there. I mean, I would love to see him go there, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah,
who do you think is the big competitors for the Lakers then? I mean, obviously the Clippers, but do you guys have any other teams that can fight for that position in the West?
Or in the West.
Let's see. Well, I mean, the East is just scary. The Bucks.
Well,
everyone's scared of the Bucks, and I would be too. The Nuggets, I've never been a huge fan of. I don't know. I'm not really sure about them.
Yeah, I don't. Think
I mean, the Rockets are down there, and they're always creeping up on you. You just don't see them sometimes. Harden and Westbrook are sneaky. I mean, and we talked about it too. The Mavs. I mean, Luka's good. The Jazz are good. The Thunder are also really underrated and good. The Pelicans, once they get that ninth place spot and win tiebreaker against the Grizzlies.
I'm surprised that wasn't your first team, Ryota.
Well, I can't go for that much of an underdog, but I don't know. The Pelicans are looking really good. They have a healthy Zion, who seems to got even more yoked. Apparently, I think he was already that yoked. So I don't know. Brandon Ingram is going to be hungry. He's going to want to beat the Lakers, right? No doubt. So same with Alonzo.
Yeah, they want revenge.
I don't know. Like, yeah, they might not be able to guard AD and LeBron that well, but who's going to guard Drew Holiday? KCP? No.
Well, maybe Alex Caruso. You were hyping him up.
Yeah, but is Alex Caruso that good of a defender? I don't know. Honestly, is he?
I don't know. I mean, I think what you have is you could probably put Danny Green on him.
I think what the Pelicans
Danny
need to
Green
do is
goes
sign
with Kawhi
DeMarcus
Leonard.
Cousins so he can guard AD, and then we're in business.
Justin, do you have any teams?
If you think about that, though, that could be very interesting.
Huh.
You put Favors in you put Favors. Well, I don't know how they want to do it, but you put Favors off the bench or Boogie off the bench, but just having another defensive, guy at the block. That could be highly interesting if you think about it.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I might go call Alvin Gentry right now. Like, that's a very interesting.
I think
that might make the Pelicans a real winner.
Maybe we'll see. I mean, the season, we almost did play out the whole entire season, and they ended up in ninth place or something. So we'll see what happens.
2022 NBA champs. 2022 NBA champs.
Oh no, sorry.
I'm gonna say now.
4 games behind.
Justin, do you have what about the Blazers? Do you have any teams that are kind of underdogs for the West?
I mean, looking at the standings right now from when the season ended, I think it's really just going to be, underdogs, meaning like they'll surpass like the 1 or 2 spot.
Or what team do you have just going? I just want to know your pick.
Oh, into the finals, the Lakers seem to have like a lock on that position.
The lock?
Yeah.
You mean into the playoffs? Okay, sorry.
No, he meant into finals.
Even like
you have them beating the Clippers?
Yes. I can see the Lakers beating the Clippers.
I'm pretty sure when the season just was about to end, I think the Lakers did beat the Clippers.
I think so.
Let me fact check that. But yeah, the Lakers, have the King and they have Anthony Davis. The Clippers have the Kawhi Leonard, who was able to beat Golden State last year. So maybe there's some of that. But yeah, Lakers beat Clippers 112 to 103. But yeah, we'll just see what happens. I think the Clippers have the most depth when it comes to that. But at the end of the game, right, you only have to put out 5 players.
But with the whole bubble situation, players trying to get healthy. Well, actually, probably by the time the playoffs are there probably should be max fitness. But
I think, especially with you brought up a good point. Kawhi Leonard's been dealing with load management, so like he might have to be rested more so, and might not be able to get back into the groove of things. That's what I'm thinking. Just because of the past, what they've been doing, and throughout the season, they've been strict with his minutes. I know Paul George has been dealing with a few injuries.
I should be healthy now. I should be fine.
Well, I know, but he has been dealing with injuries. At the start of the season, they didn't play as well, and I don't know. And also, we have to take into account this is their first year together, Paul George and Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah,
and maybe I don't know. We'll have to see.
Yeah.
In the East, you have the Bucks, you have the Celtics, you have Toronto. And then you have the 76ers you can throw in. Or the Heat. What teams do you guys have there?
Jesse, you can go first.
It's just I feel like it's just almost a mixed bag. I feel like the East, those first 3 spots could almost be like interchangeable. I feel like all 3 of those teams have a lot of talent. And rising Pascal Siakam, like Jesus Christ, Kyle Lowry is still producing. But then you have the Bucks with the unstoppable Giannis Antetokounmpo. You have to triple team that man, and then that leaves all your role players open. So I don't know. It's I heavily favor the Bucks, but that's because like I admire the Greek Freak and like how he's just played like even like these last like few years. So
Do you think there's
uh,
pressure on him to get to the finals without um, LeBron James there and Kawhi Leonard, or do you think that he would still get a pass this year?
I feel like there's pressure in that he's expected to make it
Hmm.
because there's no LeBron. But
Yeah.
they still have to get past the Raptors, and that's gonna be a fight. That'll be a battle. That'll be an Eastern Conference I'd like to see. You know, so and I feel like these past like 5 years, it's always been like who's gonna play the Warriors, in the West, and that's usually where the what decides like the finals.
Hmm.
It's always just whatever happens in the East. The East, but now I feel like the East, in terms of like their skill and the players, that they can almost rival the West, at least in the first three teams I'm looking at: the Bucks, the Raptors, and the Celtics. So I
Yeah,
think it'll be
historically,
interesting. I
yeah,
think
historically,
it'll
the
be
East
fun.
has been really high on or up there with the first three, and then it's drifted off.
Hmm.
Um, Ryota, do you have any teams that you're looking out for, kind of like your Pelicans in the West?
In the West or the East?
Well, what team would be the Pelicans in the West for you in the East?
Oh, I see. So, um, I mean, I really like the Heat, but I mean, the Heat are not like underdog teams by any means. Well, they
Hmm.
kind of are, but I really like the Heat. I'm just looking at their lineup. I mean, Jimmy Butler, obviously, Kendrick Nunn, Goran, Duncan Robinson, Tyler Harrow, Andre Iguodala, Derek Jones, Jay Crowder, Bam Adebayo, Kelly Olynyk. That's like a good 10 players. He can. I think are pretty reliable. So I think they have a lot of good depth. I think maybe not as much as the Bucks because they just play so well overall. Around Giannis.
Hmm.
Um, but we talked about it. I think the Magic have a pretty solid team. Young but solid. They have Fultz. Um, they have Vucevic, Jonathan Isaac, Aaron Gordon. Who else am I missing? I think the Fournier, who's going to be healthy and back ready. So I think they might have a. They're the eighth place team right now, but I think they'll probably end up beating the Wizards and stay in the playoffs.
Hmm.
Um, and I
Yeah.
think they deserve to. They're a pretty good team. Again, the Pacers are still there too. The Pacers are in the hunt. I think there's some question marks of whether Brogdon will be back though, because he tested positive a couple weeks ago, right?
I
Um,
think so. Yeah.
and there was also rumors that IT might go to the Pacers because Jeremy Lamb and Oladipo are probably not, or Jeremy Lamb's definitely not ready to play, but Oladipo might not play because it's he's still rehabbing. So that could be another interesting spot. But I want to talk about IT. Do you guys have specific teams you might fit in well to? I have one in mind, but I wonder if you guys have any in mind.
Isaiah Thomas. I mean, he was with the Wizards, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the last team he played for. I think he needs to go to a team that needs a guard to come off the bench and
Hmm.
be a six man, and he needs to have the ball. Because with Boston, that's how he succeeded, and with Sacramento, right? He
Mm-hmm.
didn't play well when he didn't have the ball, so I
Mm-hmm.
think he needs to go to a team maybe like the Pacers that need like a second guard
Mm-hmm.
and just control the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, granted, he's not gonna blow anybody away on the post, right? And he's not gonna, I don't know, he's not a catch and shoot shooter. He's more of like a pick and roll, gonna pass it off or use my quickness. I mean, as much as I love Isaiah Thomas, I also think there's an issue still with the hip. I think he's
Mm-hmm.
definitely been slower, and maybe that's why he's not getting signed, which is a bummer. But I mean, I think the hip is still hurting him, and I
Mm-hmm.
think that's slowed down his ability to play. And that,
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
speed is
fair.
all it was his game. If it was at Washington, and if it was in the NBA, I think he's relied on that. And now that his hip has been acting up, I think
Mm-hmm.
it's a problem.
So yeah, a team that I thought was like struggling and kind of needs like that leadership role for like that Isaiah Thomas could really fill is the Kemba Walker-less Hornets, and now they have Terry Rozier and they need a backup. So Isaiah Thomas would definitely fit there pretty well. And like you said, they did draft what's his face,
Devontae
Devontae
Graham.
Graham. So it could be really good for Isaiah Thomas. Not only will he get like quality minutes out of um, playing for a team that needs that leadership role, but it can maybe even be like a resurgence role because maybe Terry Rozier doesn't put out like they paid him for, and then Isaiah Thomas comes in and just like, no, does some of his magic, and then he's back in there. He's back in with the best of them. So and he's not even that old. How old is Isaiah Thomas?
30.
I think he's like 31.
Yeah,
But I think you're right.
that's-
I think I liked what you said because also the Hornets aren't the best team, so there's not pressure to win.
Mhm.
And then maybe I like Devontae Graham, but I don't see him as a number one point guard. Maybe like that leader of the team. So I think if they were, they might draft. They're probably going to draft a point guard, hopefully in this next draft, and then maybe Isaiah Thomas can come in and be that spark.
Yeah, be a starter for the beginning and then kind of go back to
and
bench role if that's
exactly. But I personally didn't like the Terry Rozier signing, and I think they're just stuck with it, and that might be a kind of like an obstacle that now they don't have as much money to pay Isaiah Thomas.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. But Michael Jordan as an owner has been sporadic, so we'll just have to see what happens. But I do like that pick. I think that's a team that he can definitely go to. It makes a lot of sense.
I have a team in mind, at least a team that's going to be in the bubble situation. So the Raptors, you guys know, I mean, they're starting five, right? Kyle Lowry, Van Vliet, Anunoby, Siakam, Ibaka. But their second rotation, it's kind of like, I don't know. They're not some big names. Like they have Patty McCaw, Terrence Davis, Norman Powell, who's been really good, Rondé Hollis-Jefferson, but Marc Gasol. Like, I don't know. Does IT fit into their second rotation there? What do you guys think?
So I don't think so. And I only say this because I think what they're lacking in the second unit is defense.
Yeah.
I know Van Vliet can score, and sometimes he comes off as a second unit. McCaw is not a point guardish, but what's that second guy that you said?
Terrence Davis.
I know he for sure is a scorer and kind of a smaller guy like Isaiah Thomas, and I've seen him play a few times, and he, I think, is kind of this younger version of Isaiah Thomas. So I think they need more of a defensive point guard, somebody that can, play against Curry or play against, match up with the more offensive gifted, point guards. But I mean, see, that's the issue. Like, and we've seen this a lot in the NBA. A lot of these players that are really good at scoring but can't stick on defense end up leaving the league, or like can't make it with teams. And I mean,
that's a good point.
Yeah, and there's also like, I don't know any guards that are available in free agency right now that specialize in defense because it's such a
just one. There's one.
Well, who is it?
If you consider him as a guard, he's more of a forward. Iman Shumpert.
Iman Shumpert?
He's still free agent. He's 30, but again, he doesn't produce much offense.
Yeah, I mean, if a team like Toronto needs defense, I think that would be a good pick.
Yeah, I agree.
Joe Johnson's also available.
Does
anybody have any takes on that?
He's 40. He's 38. That's my one take. But he won the MVP for the Big Three the last year or 2 years ago. So he's like not entirely retired. He's just not NBA level of play right now. So I don't know.
Yeah, I think you said it right. 38 years old.
Just a little. I mean, he's probably going to be liability on defense again. That's
right. So, very offensive minded player. So
yeah, ISO Joe to be exact. Well, what of the free agencies that we talked about do you think will supply the biggest impact? Do you think Joakim Noah will have a big impact? Like, what do you guys think he'll do? Do you think if he'll do anything? I mean, when in his prime, I mean, during the playoffs, he averaged 8 points a game.
Yeah.
Or 9 points a game, 7 rebounds, and 4 offensive rebounds. So, if he gets a chance, it's kind of surprising that the Clippers got him. I mean, I know they're trying to get bigger to defend Anthony Davis. But
it's interesting because Harold can be, he's more of a stretch five, right? He's not like a 5'5". Like I think I see him as more of a power forward.
Yeah, he's definitely a power. Yeah.
So I think, I mean, right now they have PG and Kawhi, at the 2 and 3. The point guard is, just depends on matchup. They have Pat Bev or Reggie Jackson or Lou Will.
Mm-hmm.
They have Landry Shamet and Lou, obviously, for the 2 and 3 backup. They have Marcus Morris lined up at the 4 right now, but I think what they're maybe trying to do is have Harrell play the 4, have Morris come off the bench, and then have Zubac and Noah kind of make sure that last spot is locked down. Because I think Zubac's a little bit more offensive, right? He's a big body, but he's a little bit more offensive. And then Joakim could be that bigger body, to match up against teams like, the Lakers, or I don't know what other Western Conference teams they could match up against. But I like Noah. I mean, he's just a nice addition to have on the bench, because that's what the Clippers are all about, depth right now, right?
Yeah. Justin, do you have any other comments or anything you want to throw in there?
I mean, whenever I hear the name Joakim Noah, I just hear of like a grinder. Like he's just thrown in there to grab the boards, play solid defense, and that's like your job. Kind of like, not like the Andrew Bogut. So he's kind of like that role player that comes in, plays defense, maybe can get a block or two, run up and down the court, get tired, and then get off. So, it's like you said, it's just adding another body. It's matching up against Anthony Davis, who I think that's just a struggle to do. But, it certainly helps though. So
an extra body for rest too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I mean, I think we went through all of the free agencies, and we'll update you guys on what comes next with the bubble. Do you guys follow Miles Leonard on Instagram? You guys should do that. He's so funny.
He's funny.
Yeah. So he did Miami came in to the bubble right yesterday, and he went on Instagram Live and like set up, because he's a huge gamer. So he was on Instagram, he was like showing people his Instagram or his like setup for gaming. And then he like showed everything, like he gave everybody a tour, and then he called room service, and then he ordered some food, and then we were able to talk with the room service person. He's pretty funny to follow, a good insight to what players are dealing with right now for the bubble. And I think it's really, really interesting. So everybody should give Miles Leonard a follow on Instagram and watch that live video that he posted. Okay. That's my little note for this segment. All right. Thanks for coming in, Justin, and bringing us your insight. Till next time. See you guys.
Yeah, for sure.
See ya.